And we're live. Hello. Welcome everybody to It's All Work. And today we only have myself, Big T, and to my left, right, or to my side is HangyMangy, fresh off the tattoo table. How was your tattoo, man?
Actually cool. $40 tattoo. I don't know if y'all can see it. Probably not. It's probably not.
All we see is a giant arm. There we go.
Yep, the Majin symbol. Because I'm an anime fan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I knew I fell in love. I like Dragon Ball Z, but that's when I knew when I fell in love with it.
Heard that.
Whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, y'all know the deal by now. We're on episode 14, and we're here reviewing Raw. All right, we have quite the reputation of reviewing things, and we're going to get down to business. We're going to be doing something a little new. You guys notice that every time at the end of our program, I always say, give us a rating. Hangy will give us a rating. I'll give my rating. Dresh gives his rating. So today, we're getting a little bit more mathematical with it. I will ask G today to rate every segment in every match, and then at the end, I'll ask him for his overall rating, his overall feel for the night, and then we'll put all of that together, and we'll get the actual rating.
Yeah,
should be fun. I don't know, just something random, something fresh, something new. Got to change it up to stay relevant, to stay on the island of relevancy.
Okay.
All right, so look, getting into Raw, we had a really interesting one today, and I just want to start it off by asking, did we see the Attitude Era come back on Monday, G?
Yeah, no, shit. Yeah, we saw the Attitude Era come back. It's definitely back full effect. I don't know if they're gonna call it the new Attitude Era, but maybe more of a. I keep on seeing the Renaissance Era. I keep on seeing this era, that era. So I mean, I honestly don't know what era it is, but I just know we're out the fucking PG era.
Yep. And as you can tell by G's use of swears, we're just letting it go. We tried to stay kid friendly, but you know what? It's a wrestling show, and if The Rock can say fuck on national television, we can say fuck on Spotify and YouTube.
Yes.
Might not get monetized though. Whatever. Who cares? So
we'll get monetized.
We'll be all right. So we're gonna start the night with a recap of the last entry of the Rhodes and Reigns saga. It just still doesn't feel like a big deal, which is crazy. Or it feels like it's playing second fiddle to The Rock.
It feels like Reigns versus Rhodes is second fiddle, but it's more of a everybody versus the bloodline. When I say everybody, it's everybody in the Rhodes group. Like you have Rhodes, Rollins, Jey, and whoever else decides they want to help out. It just seems like it's everybody versus the bloodline. So
yeah, absolutely.
The title match is definitely like on the back burner. It seems like.
Yeah, something else that it took long to click for me, but I noticed it when I was watching tonight, when I was watching Monday today. I watched them late or whatever, but The Rock calling himself the final boss. That kind of buries Roman. It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, The Rock is like, I'm the final boss. I'm, the dude. I'm the man. And here's my cousin Roman who has this belt and who's had this 3-year title reign. It's like, what?
Like, meh.
More than 3 years, I think. No, 3 years. 3 years.
No, 3 years. 3 years. Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like he's burying him. He's legitimately burying him, and maybe it's on purpose. Maybe it's I don't know.
It could be. It could be. I hope I'm getting worked in this, but something else I noticed tonight. You've got a Attitude Era person involved in the Universal title match at WrestleMania heavily. And now you have a Ruthless Aggression era person who is involved in the World Heavyweight title match in CM Punk. And he's been involved heavily. He's mentioned every week by mainly by Drew McIntyre, not really by Seth.
Yeah.
But, this is very weird, right? Like, we have these two people involved in title matches that don't have titles. It's, there might be something there.
Maybe a prediction. Later on, future title matches for both. Well, maybe not The Rock, but maybe a future title match for CM Punk. Now, I honestly don't see why The Rock's involved in the title match. I mean, it's more so just that storyline with the bloodline. That's why he's involved. But yeah, I don't see him getting involved in a title round, title match.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and go right into Cody Rhodes and The Rock. Cody Rhodes comes out and he gets his starter promo, and Cody Rhodes, he says exactly what we've all been thinking from the very beginning, and that's basically that we're done with the talk, we want to see the walk. Everybody's come out here, said their piece, and we're in this awkward 2-week phase where WrestleMania is right around the corner, and we're in a situation where everybody's like, can y'all just fight already, please, for the love of God?
Right. Yeah, the talk is old. Like, get on with the show.
Right. He gives a shout out to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and then jumps into a recap of the things that were said last week. And he said that he intends to keep his promises, and he always keeps his promises. And he points to being a random guy's best man, to being at Hudson's birthday party, and all these other things. He acknowledges that this is his final crack at the tribal chief, so there might be something in that. And that he acts and dresses the way he does, which is like a champion, because the champion is never here. Seemed kind of like a dig at Seth Rollins. Seth's there every night. He is the champion. He's a champion.
Yeah.
So
he is a champion.
Kind of interesting that. He says they respects Roman Reigns, but hates his guts, and understands that if Roman hates his guts too, because he stopped the wank fest that him and The Rock was going to have at WrestleMania, because he was the one who won the Royal Rumble, right? He asked all the fans to ride with him on April 6th into this tag team match, and asked all the fans if they'll fight with him on April 7th in the main event of WrestleMania Night 2, and they then all point to the WrestleMania sign together. Cody then says he's going to defeat the final boss, and as soon as he says that, The Rock's music hits, and he comes to the ring, and he stares down Cody for a solid minute and a half, 2 minutes. We hear...
It was awkward.
What's that?
I said it was awkward. I'm like, all right, you gonna do something?
It was, and we hear "holy shit" chants. We hear "this is awesome" chants. And it was pretty cool. The Rock wasn't scheduled. He came out. He made an appearance. He stood there. He goes over to Cody, and I saw all of the talk online about what The Rock said. Tonight, I'm going to make you bleed. Yep. That is what he said. 100%.
Yeah, that is what he said. I was trying to read those. I had to replay it back like 5 to 6 times. Yep. So I was like, what the
f-? Right. So he said, yeah, tonight I'm going to make you bleed. And then he backs away, gets out of the ring. The crowd starts booing. We start getting the Rocky sucks chant.
Did you notice Cody's face? that man looked shook. He looked shook. He said, what?
He said, I can't bleed. This is PG. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm going to bleed.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're going to do that? I don't believe you.
So this was really good hype, and this became really, if you're watching this and you put this against all of the other matches and everything else, in my opinion at least, you are thinking to yourself, what the hell did The Rock say? Or if you caught it, you're thinking to yourself, what did The Rock mean by that? When is this other segment coming up? You know, and they did a really good job, I think, because, you know, Jey and Shinsuke are supposed to be the closing match for the night. Right. And I believe that, you know, a lot of fans had forgotten about it by the time that match came up.
Yeah, legit, I forgot about it too.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
One thing that I hate seeing is Netflix, not Netflix, but USA bleeping out chants, and I think that they need to stop that. That has to stop.
Yeah, I mean, they show violence on their channel. I know for a fact because I used to watch some of their shows. So what's the difference between that gets into the conversation? What's the difference between violence and profanity? You know, why is one worse than the other? You know, what's so bad about somebody saying, "Excuse my language," but you know, I show somebody getting their head blown off or something.
Right.
What's the boundaries?
Right. And I think that when we go to Netflix, all that's going to change. I think they're going to change their rating.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for 2025. Very excited to be covering that in 2025. So opening segment. First thing, what would you rate out of 10 the opening segment? You can do 0.5, 0.8, 0.25, whatever you want.
Out of 10?
Out of 10. Rated out of 10.
I'd say it was a 5 or 6.
5 or 6?
Yeah, so it was only. Yeah, it was only good because, I guess, because Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky came out, did what he did, and it just kind of left everybody in the mystery, like, you know, what's going to happen? What's about to happen? You know, was it going to be tonight? Was it going to be Friday? Is it going to be during WrestleMania? Like, what's going to happen?
I was a lot more generous. I did 7.5. I rated it pretty high. Nothing was said, nothing was done by The Rock, but it was a hype. It was a hype factor. And I think that in my rating, I'm probably cheating a little bit because I'm also taking into account the rest of the night, how it set the night up. So there could be that too. Yeah, I'm not rating it on its own. I'm rating it as a whole. So that's probably my bad.
Good.
So we're gonna move on. We switch cameras to Ricochet training for JD in the back. Then we switch to Jackie Redmond after commercial break. She asked The Rock, "What did you say to Cody?" And Cody says, "I'm sorry." And The Rock says, The Rock says, "Why don't you ask Cody Rhodes?" And he leaves. We then switch to Judgment Day in the back playing darts, and Damian says that JD needs to win tonight, and JD says that he's got Ricochet's number. And Rhea just looks at him and goes, "Just win, please." And Damian looks...
Is this fortune telling? I'm sorry. Is this just fortune telling? Because nobody wants him in there. His own stablemates don't even want him in there.
It is interesting. Like Finn was like, "I'm tired of, you know, Ricochet making you two look like fools every night, this, that, and the other thing." He's like, "You got to go out and do this thing." And very, very interesting. I will say that JD did impress me. It was an impressive match for me.
It was a decent match.
Yeah, so, but before that, Damian mentions that he has an idea that's going to put them in a good way for the six-pack tag match at WrestleMania. And they walk off. This is going to bring us to Ricochet versus JD with Dominic Mysterio in the corner. Match is going to start off with a normal tie-up. JD getting the advantage at first because of a distraction by Dom, but Ricochet quickly gets control by using his amazing high-flying offense. We go to a commercial break after seeing Ricochet do a twisting suicide dive to JD over the top rope. When we come back from the commercial break, JD is somehow in control, and they work around the ring, reversing back and forth, and with JD trying some acrobatic offense of his own, like standing backflips and things of that nature, but Ricochet's offense is literally just simply too amazing and simply too unique for JD to overcome. The match tonight that night was a mismatch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Clearly.
We get a flying clothesline to JD, and JD, and Ricochet gets a near fall with a standing shooting star press. Ricochet continues his momentum until JD delivers we continue the momentum until JD reverses the momentum and hits a Spanish fly into a brainbuster for a near fall. JD moves Ricochet to the corner and possibly to go for a top rope Spanish fly, but Ricochet counters and hits some type of top rope brainbuster. Like it was like a, I don't even know how to describe it. It was fantastic. Is what it was.
Yeah, it was nice. You know what? Going back to that JD move, the Spanish fly into the brainbuster. I will say I will give him credit on that. I did not see that coming. That was a hell of a move by him. Good on you. You get one check mark in G's list.
That's the G check mark. All right, you heard it here. That's the first G check mark. But no, it was beautiful. Like JD did things in the match against Ricochet. That there was a mismatch, but I think that Ricochet, being as good as he is, allowed JD to open up a little bit, which other opponents that he's had in the past may not have been able to allow him to open up like that.
And I will say, I'm glad they let Ricochet open up, because you said so many moves that Ricochet has done in this one match that we haven't heard him do. And since I feel like he had the bullet sounds in his theme music, which he doesn't have anymore.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, somebody looked at him and just said, "Go to work, kid," and he just went out and did it.
And he did work. Good for him.
So Ricochet ends up hitting his finish, and he goes for the pin, but Dom puts JD's foot on the rope. This distracts Ricochet for a moment, and he goes for a 450 splash, but he waited too long, and JD counters by getting the knees up as we go to a commercial. When we come back, we have JD still firmly controlled, but then Ricochet hits an insane Canadian Destroyer just out of nowhere. He used a Canadian Destroyer as a reversal. Ricochet.
And let me say, the proper Canadian Destroyer, the proper way to do it, out of nowhere. Just keep it like that.
It was insane how good that Canadian Destroyer was. So Ricochet goes to the top for his 450 splash, but Dom casts distraction by being on the apron, and he hits the ropes on his way down. This causes Ricochet to land on the Giggleberries, and Dom gets kicked out of the arena for
Giggleberries, all right.
While Ricochet is tending to the hurt Giggleberries, JD runs up to the top rope to take advantage. He says, "This is my time, this is my time." And Ricochet says, "Nah, it's my time." Knocks him off the top turnbuckle and hits a shooting star press after JD gets to his feet. And he hits a shooting star press while the man is standing.
Beautiful.
Ricochet wins via this beautiful shooting star press. I don't know what they're going to do with Ricochet, but it would appear as if it's going to be something amazing.
If they keep this up, I will be so happy. Don't let this be a one and done WWE, because this is fantastic work.
Well, it's really interesting, man, because like JD the first week, Dominic the second week, JD the third week. Feels like maybe we get Finn next week, and maybe so. Finn gets a win going into WrestleMania. I don't know.
Nah, Finn takes this L. If they let Ricochet do what he's doing, Finn takes his L. And it sets up for the downfall of Judgment Day.
This also makes me think that maybe like Damian cashes in on Gunther after they lose the tag titles at Mania. Like Damien cashes in on Gunther, and then maybe Ricochet ends up being Damien's first opponent. Like, that would be cool. I know that's like some crazy fantasy booking, but I mean, that would be all right, right?
I feel like Chad would be the first opponent.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later too. Chad is in here in some weird way, and I really don't know what Chad's doing.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's keep pushing forward.
You're right. You're right. So we're gonna get a trailer for Bray Wyatt and his new biography. So just gotta give respect to Bray. Some Firefly action right there.
Miss you, Bray.
Yeah, I definitely miss him. We're gonna cut to Jimmy walking through the halls for some reason. He's just here. He's here, just eating through the halls. So, then we're gonna get. There's nothing. I mean, it was literally just a camera angle. Like, there was nothing else to say about it. He said, "Oh, Jimmy's here, or Jay's here." It's like, all right, cool. So we're gonna cut now to CM Punk, Drew, in the Seth segment. Oh wait, hold on.
We gotta talk about that match. Yeah, rating.
So what do you rate Ricochet and JD McDonough?
I'm not gonna lie, that was a 9 for me. That was up there. That wasn't up there. Like, this Ricochet's moveset, JD actually having a moveset, doing stuff, that Spanish flying to the brainbuster. I'm like, holy shit, he has moves. That was a 9.
Hell yeah. I rated it as an 8, so I rated it high as well. And I agree. Ricochet, literally the highlight reel. And
man, keep it this way.
Yep. And JD, just a good fall guy. Good for JD. Knows his place. I like.
He did good work though. I give him that. He did good work.
I'm sure it'll be something great one day. I'm just jealous of him. Now, CM Punk comes to the ring, and this is a long segment, man. So I just took some cliff notes on it. I mean, there's still a lot of notes, but I took cliff notes. I'm
pretty sure everybody that's watching, or everybody that's gonna watch this, has seen at least the highlights of it, because that segment was just insane in itself.
True. So CM Punk comes to the ring. He says that everyone's been asking him what he's going to be doing at WrestleMania, or if he's going to be at WrestleMania, and he says the short answer is yes. He says that he can't physically compete because his arm is hurt, but his mouth still works. Just ask April.
Jesus.
April, of course, is AJ Lee. So he just said on national television that he likes eating AJ Lee's pussy. That's what he said.
Yep.
That's what he said.
Straight up.
You just have to be able to read between the lines. He's like, I like eating out my wife, which is.
I ain't mad at him.
I ain't mad. I ain't mad at him.
I ain't mad at him. 100%.
So yeah, so he says all of that. He has a little good chuckle about it. He gives options of what he could do at WrestleMania. Well, first he says, is there a high-profile championship match that he could be a part of? And the crowd starts to roar. He gives options of what he could do. Should he be a ref? Should he do commentary? Hell, should he just forget the match altogether, and should he be the host of WrestleMania? He moves on to say that him and Roman are going to end up seeing each other as they cross paths on the mountain. Him going to the top of the mountain and Roman back on his way down the mountain. All came from, apparently Roman opened his mouth and talked about CM Punk on Pat McAfee's show, which CM Punk does not watch or listen to. He made that clear. Yep. On national television, by the way. His buried Pat McAfee show. He says that Seth likes to talk about him. A lot, and he likes to LOL about him paying the price for being a pro wrestler since he was 15 years old, and he thinks, and CM Punk said he thinks that's really funny and ironic coming from a guy with 2 bad knees. He says that The Rock really hasn't said anything about him at all, which isn't surprising because he probably remembers that his hands were always too short to box with God.
I don't know how I feel about that comment. Because, I mean, last time I remember, Rock put him on his ass, but hey, that's just me talking.
I mean, didn't CM Punk beat The Rock during that whole Box with God thing? I thought he did.
Maybe.
I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again.
Yeah.
He says that Drew loves to talk about him and that he doesn't stay on the internet. Or he doesn't do his fighting on the internet. If he has a problem with someone, he does it. He handles it live and in living color, face to face. Drew's music hits and he comes out and they just go back and forth at each other. Punk maintains the upper hand though, and I think that he actually won this one. He tells the trucks backstage to cut off Drew's stupid music. Tells him to get his bitch ass in the ring. Tells him to get in the ring so if they can see if he's a Scottish psychopath in a kilt or an internet troll in a skirt. When Drew tries to mention his new shirt, CM Punk interrupts him and says that he's never had to put another man's name on a shirt to sell it.
Man, he spins some facts. I mean, good Lord.
I mean, the problem is that Seth and Drew both went against CM Punk on the mic, and the problem is that you do not go against CM Punk on the mic because he is prideful and he doesn't care if there is a script. I don't think there was in this case.
He is going straight off script.
He wants to win.
If he feels like he's losing on the mic, he is going off script, and it is fantastic.
Right. Like, if he feels like the crowd's turning or whatever, he believes in controversy. And he's just going to say whatever he feels like he needs to say.
Man, did he?
So Drew, at this point, tries to take his shirt off. And he has some trouble with it. And he says that he's sorry. The shirt had a hard time getting over his biceps, which is something that CM Punk has probably never had to deal with in his life. Drew says that it's ironic that Punk is straight edge, yet he's somehow always in rehab. At this point, Punk keeps insisting that Drew is a coward and tells him to get into the ring and speak into his good ear. But Drew says that he knows that Punk is from Chicago, so that probably means that Punk has a weapon somewhere and he's probably going to use it to try to take out Drew before his big WrestleMania moment. At this point, Seth Rollins decides... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. One more little thing. Drew goes on to call himself the Chosen One, and Punk says, who called you the Chosen One? He said, who is the paragon... What did he say? Who is the paragon of good virtue that called you the Chosen One?
Good virtue. Yeah, say his name. No, say his name.
So, if anybody doesn't know, Vince McMahon is the person that called him the Chosen One. So he can't say Vince's name. So this breaks Drew for a moment, and he starts to laugh, and you can tell that Drew's kind of like, what the hell do I say now? But he gets it back. He snaps out of it, and he says that CM Punk should be the guest commentator for the WrestleMania match between him and Seth, so that he can cover Drew winning the title. At this point, Seth has heard enough, and he decides that he's going to head down to the ring. So Seth comes out, and he does his Monday Night Rollins bit, and after the crowd responds to him and says the things they're supposed to say, he says that now that we know whose show this is, whose show it has been, and whose show it will continue to be, we can get down to business. He says that CM Punk doesn't get to decide anything for a match that he's actually not going to be a part of in WrestleMania. So Seth decides, since everybody else has an opinion, why don't we let the crowd decide as well? And he takes a poll from the crowd to ask, should Seth or should CM Punk do commentary? They start chanting referee after a while, and Seth says, well, I don't know if you guys know, but he actually hurt his counting arm. CM Punk gets down, counts 1, 2, and 3, with his other arm, and Drew celebrates like he won the championship from the commentator's table. And then CM Punk says, you know what, no, honestly, I probably couldn't be impartial with these two shitheads in the ring. So, to that, Drew says, PG, brother. Got to keep it PG. And Seth says, you want to know what I think, Punk? And CM Punk says, no. Seth ignores this and continues to say that he doesn't think anything of CM Punk at all. And he hasn't thought of him since the last time they were in the ring together. Rollins says that Punk can do whatever he wants to do at Mania, and that it's ironic because Punk actually needs him to have a WrestleMania moment now. But he likes the idea of him narrating his final hour at Mania because this is the closest that he's probably ever going to get to a title again. CM Punk said that, fine, it's decided. We're going to do me and commentary. I'm going to sit next to Michael Cole. I'm going to sit next to Pat McAfee. And I'm going to do something that Drew's high-inch lifts on his shoes, his lifted shoes, his stupid entrance or his sword, Seth Rollins' bell-bottom pants, or his wife, or CM Punk's 10-year absence could never do, and that is make both of them interesting. He says, hit my music, and he gets out of the ring, and Drew says, no. You don't get to be the person with the last word. You aren't even in the match at WrestleMania. He said, I want to make one thing very clear, and that one thing that I want to make clear is that the only thing that I'm obsessed with, the only thing that I think about is the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And you, CM Punk, you are obsessed with me. You look on all my posts, you watch all of my videos, you're my #1 stan. Hit me up just to chill. Truly yours, your biggest fan. This is Phil.
That was good. I ain't gonna lie. That was good as hell.
Seth then hits a super kick on Drew as soon as he says this. Hits a curb stomp. Very heel move, by the way. And then Seth gets out of the ring, walks past CM Punk, and we fade into our next segment. Say what you want about CM Punk, say what you want about the old timers being involved in both heavyweight championship matches. The Rock made Cody and Roman more interesting. CM Punk just made Rollins and Drew more interesting, and I was already invested in them, and now this whole talk off the cuff, going at CM Punk, going at each other, for me, made it that much more interesting.
It elevated the hell out of it, so I'm looking forward to this match now.
Yeah,
like it legit was. It was on the back burner compared to The Rock and the Bloodline and that whole story versus Cody.
Yeah.
Now, it's getting up there.
Yeah.
It is getting up there.
I agree. I still don't think it's at that pinnacle yet, but I think that one more week, maybe it'll be there. Maybe it will.
If they keep adding CM Punk into the mix, yeah. That was crazy.
So CM Punk, Drew, and Seth segment. What are we rating it at?
10.
Oh,
that was a 10.
We get a 10.
That was a 10. That was fantastic. You know why I give it a 10? You know, there's other segments, like even with Ricochet and JD McDonough, I still took my eyes off the screen. That entire segment I watched through and through. My eyes did not leave the screen. And I was that glued and like just dedicated to see what the hell was going on.
Damn. You know what? You're right. You make me rethink my rating. I gave it an 8. I went back. I watched it 3 times.
You watched it 3 times?
I watched it. So I watched it the night after because there was so much buzz about it. And then I watched it today. And then after I was done with everything, I went back and watched it. Because it was just, it was a good segment. It just was a good segment.
It was really good. Like that was a 10 for me. I haven't been glued to the screen in a long time like that. That was really good.
And they're proving again something that everyone secretly knew, but Vince never wanted to go through with, at least reportedly. Mm-hmm. And that is that just let these damn wrestlers go out and talk. Like, a lot of people like to forget. Most of the wrestlers were in the indies. Seth was in the indies. Drew in the indies. CM Punk in the indies. They know how to talk. You don't get through the indies unless you know how to talk.
Exactly.
You know, I talked to, in my interview with Ace Montana, I talked to him about that. He was different. He is different. He likes to get on the mic and talk.
It's not a script. It's not something that they're just following word for word, bar for bar. Like suffering succotash.
Right.
This was real work, this was interesting. Like I would say even the average person, not even a wrestling fan, they would have been glued to the TV just to see what the hell they were talking about, because this is insane.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that people who aren't even wrestling fans, like you said, I think if they watch this, they'd be like, man, this is pretty hype. You know what I mean? All right, so we got a 10. I gave it an 8. That's going to move us straight into our Shinsuke Nakamura segment. Just some sour grapes storyline-wise from Shinsuke. Shinsuke is upset basically about Jey's dream coming true, and he says that he's going to turn it into a nightmare. Very interesting is the way the word nightmare was portrayed on the screen, and that the American Nightmare had a segment after their match at the end. I think that was a little bit of foreshadowing. So whoever is writing, whoever's writing for the WWE right now, they're incorporating all types of television inside, like foreshadowing and like shock TV and all of this stuff. So we're going to move right into Ivy Nile with Maxxine Dupree versus Candice LeRae and with Indy Nile. What? Indy Hartwell.
Indy Hartwell.
I don't even know why I don't even know why I'm fixing my notes. I don't go back to them, but whatever. I still bad. So yeah, this match was interesting. It's just I don't know what the goal is. I don't see where the goal is. I mean, is it a Candice LeRae Indy Hartwell breakup? Is Indy Hartwell going to turn heel? Are we going for tag team gold? Are we going for Candice LeRae doing a championship run? Is Liv Morgan going to beat the hell out of all of them? Like, what is going on?
Maybe the last one, but I think they're just watching Candice LeRae just do her heel run, like doing her bad girl run, I think that's all they're doing with it, because I mean, Indy's just there. She's just along for the ride. She doesn't want to be a part of it, but she's there. Now, I say if they have another segment and Indy starts to do some heelish work, then maybe we're going to see a heel turn for both of them. But right now, it's just Candice LeRae's bad girl journey.
Okay, fair enough. So, no entrances to this match. We just start the match. Ivy Nile starts off strong, gets some redemption, gets some payback for her friend. She ragdolls Candice for a little bit. Candice gets a brief upper hand by tripping Ivy and throwing her to the outside, and tries to get Indy to attack her. When Indy doesn't do it the first time, she actually tries 2 more times and then hits Maxxine Dupree, who got on the apron and who's trying to like stop this whole cheating thing. She then feigns an injury until Ivy Nile gets back into the ring, and Candice LeRae basically gets her in a roll-up and uses her feet. And Candice LeRae wins via roll-up with her feet on the ropes. That's all that happened. About a 2-minute match. Nothing crazy. After the match, Indy looks visibly disgusted by what her friend did. That was it. it's good to showcase. I mean, they're showcasing a lot of tag team women's wrestling. So while I don't know where this is going, I'm going to let them cook. I'm going to let them cook, and I'm not going to say anything too incredibly negative. But I do want to know what you rate this match.
For the match, like a 2 for the match. For the storytelling, 5.5, because I want to see where it goes. But just the match in general, just meh.
Okay, and that's fair. Because I did 5.5. All right, I'm sorry, I didn't 5. I did 5. So I was being nice because I was like, you know, it could be going somewhere, man. Could be going somewhere. Let's hope. Do you have any comments about the story, about the match at all?
Other than, you know, we said we don't know where it's going, but I'm me thinking about it now. I'm seeing Candice LeRae versus Indy Hartwell sometime soon, and I think they're trying to find ways to make us care about it. Just hasn't hit yet. Okay,
I mean, that's fair. It could also be one of these weird stories where Indy Hartwell beats the shit out of Candice, and then Candice is like, "I've been wrong the whole time. I'm so sorry." You know what I mean?
We'll see.
So, anyway, so after this, we go to the back, and the New Day and DIY are giving each other a hard time and talking some smack to each other about, you know, their names and, you know, this kind of stuff. The Awesome Truth walks up and says that tonight's match is going to be awesome. It's DX versus the New Day. He said that he is so excited that he's so excited for the match that he's gonna go join JBL on commentary. JBL, and Miz says McAfee. And Truth says, "God bless you." So they walk away. They walk away, and you know, he says the guy's name is Pat McAfee on commentary, and he's like, "Yo, so JBL changed his name?" He's like, "Whatever." Now, it's important to notice, or it's important to note, Paul Heyman was in the background. He was in the background with Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that claims he hates the Bloodline was in the back talking to the Bloodline. This doesn't make a lot of sense. This is one of the first things that I've seen from Triple H. It really didn't make sense to me. Can you make sense of it for me, G? Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
I mean, of all the wins where Drew was fighting Cody or whoever, or Jey, who was always in the background? Bloodline. How did he get one of his last victories? Bloodline. Remember the whole hypocritical stance where, you know, he cared for a split second, but then he was like, "I need to get this victory." And who was there? The Bloodline. So it makes sense that, you know, Paul Heyman's getting in his ear to be like, you know, we can do this for you. We can make this happen, or XYZ, but I need you to do 1, 2, 3.
So, okay, so here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I'm saying, like, it doesn't make sense to me. Because, yes, everything that you said is 100% true, right? And it could be that he's now completely giving over to the dark side, and he's like, you know what, I don't like it, but I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to take every advantage. I only care about this. I only whatever. But that's the thing. He only cares about the title. But he also just constantly talks about wanting to beat Seth by himself without the help of the Bloodline. He says, leave the Bloodline alone and just focus on the match. And here he is talking to the Bloodline to presumably help him take out Seth.
Well, my thing is, he does want to win by himself, but clearly he's not, because Seth is always in the Bloodline's business. So why not take advantage of it? You know, he's truth-telling. If I want a championship, if I want to be the crown jewel, if I want to be the one that's raising the title at the end of the day with the crowd cheering or booing, whatever he sees fit,
right,
I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Seth is already in the match with the Bloodline. Nothing he can do about that. He can't stop that. So if Seth so happens to take an injury, easy dub.
CG, that's why we got you on the podcast. That's why you're a part of It's All a Work. Because you can think like a heel.
Yeah. Is that a work? I'm sorry. Oh no, he's good. You know, he's fine. You know, he's not gonna turn. He's gonna turn face. Shit.
Man, I don't know, man. After Monday, everything I've been thinking is different now. Man, it's crazy. So, all right, so we're gonna move into the New Day versus DIY with the Awesome Truth doing commentary. Now, look, if you have anything that Truth said from commentary that you want to mention, please do. There was so much going on. I did not get any of our Truth commentary, but again, the dude is great on commentary. I do hope that when he retires from in-ring action fully, I do hope that he goes on a commentary or does something like that.
He's not gonna retire from in-ring action. He's gonna die in the ring. He's super old as is. He could be doing commentary now if he wanted to. He's still in the ring. I think he's gonna die doing it.
That's fair. So we move on to the match. Really, you know, the New Day and DIY just went out there and had fun. They had just because they knew what was going to happen in the match, or well, you know, outside of kayfabe, they knew what was going to happen in the match. So they just went out there and had a good time, man. They got in their cool stuff, their high spots. You know, at one point, Gargano goes for a rolling kind of kick. You know, that rolling kick he does from the corner where he drops down and he belly rolls over and he tries to like hit the kick. So he yelled, "I got you," to Kofi Kingston, and Kofi moved and then hit him with a bulldog. But when he got up in the air with the bulldog, you heard Kofi go, "Woo!" and fucking bulldog. so they were just out there having a good time.
Yeah, being stupid as hell. I love it.
Yeah. So you know, just going through it quickly. You know, we start with Ciampa and Kofi, who work back and forth doing reversals and such until Gargano gets a blind tag. That's kind of their thing, by the way. I've noticed Ciampa starts out, Gargano hits a blind tag, and then they do their fast-paced double team movement, right? Like they get in, punch, kick in the back, knee in the stomach, whatever, and then they kind of flip it around. So Kofi ends up taking back control at some point of the situation. Gargano, he works Gargano to the corners, where the New Day basically works stomps on him, right? 1, 2, 3, stomp, quick tag. In comes Xavier Wood. 1, 2, 3, quick stomp. And they just kind of do that for a couple times. At a certain point, Ciampa says, "I've seen enough. My man's getting a mud hole stomped in him. I'm going to go help him." He comes in. He gets a super kick for his trouble. And then what ends up happening is you have Woods on one side, Kingston on the other. They run to the corners. Boom. Double lay down drop kick in the corner while both men are sitting down in the corner, both men meaning Ciampa and Gargano. And we go to a commercial. When we come back, Ciampa is on a hot tag run, hitting Woods and Kofi in the corner, doing his like, boom, hit you in the turnbuckle, I'm going to hit the rope. Boom, I'm going to hit you in the turnbuckle, going to hit the rope. And he does that back and forth. He does a couple other things. The New Day ends up with a tag to Gargano, and they work the New Day outside of the ring, and Gargano does a suicide dive. As he hits the dive, the Judgment Day is running out at that point, and they start just beating the hell out of everybody. They just run roughshod on the New Day and DIY until the Miz gets pissed off and can't take it anymore, and he decides to get involved. But R-Truth, he says, "I'm not working today. I'm doing commentary. We ain't wrestling today, dog." Yep. He's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And that's you and me, by the way.
That is.
That's you. Like, I'm the Miz in that, and you were like, "That's none of our business. What are you doing? That's none of our." Don't go looking at those guys cheating over there.
Past situations like that ain't none of our business. What that got to do with us? No, we need to do what's right. Shit, I ain't working today.
That situation happened in real life twice between me and G. All right.
Look,
This MF might be 1,000 miles away from me right now, but believe you me, there was a time where we worked in the same building, and this MF hung me out to dry twice.
Look, you hung yourself out to dry. I told you what it was. Just like R-Truth told the Miz. He said, I ain't working today.
I said, hey, we got to do this. G goes, we got to go to a commercial break. That's all we got to do. Commercial break.
He said, cut to commercial. Cut to commercial.
Oh, man. So, yes, the Miz gets in there and he starts doing some stuff, but he really didn't, I mean, he really doesn't do a lot. They take the Miz out, and Priest then looks at R-Truth and he says, "No, I'm not working, dog. I'm not working today. I'm just doing commentary." All of the Judgment Day get out. All of the Judgment Day go and surround him as he's yelling commercial, looking at the camera and saying, commercial break. We're going to commercial break. And Finn says, "You want to break? How about we break you?" And grabs him. They throw him in the ring, and then Truth starts going off. He takes out JD. He takes out Dominic. He takes out Finn, and he's doing well. He's doing the job. He's doing the damn thing. Priest, literally, like Truth described it a few weeks ago. Priest, like the big brother, just walks in, says, "What are you doing?" Grabs him, puts him in the razor's edge, puts him down. Judgment Day standing tall.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good look for the Judgment Day going into WrestleMania to anybody who knows how things work. Judgment Day standing that strong, especially if they go to SmackDown this week and attack the two number one contenders or whatever. It's not a good look for them, man. They're losing the titles, I'm telling you.
Yeah, most likely. They have to lose the titles. I don't know the who, but them titles ain't gonna be on them by the end of the night.
Speaking of which, to who, we are going to be doing our WrestleMania prediction and all that good stuff. What's going to happen? Where do we think it's going to happen? We're actually going to build the card ourselves. So, and we're not going to do it together. We're doing it separately, and we're going to say how we think the card's going to work out. We're doing this on next Thursday. So I'll talk to y'all a little bit later on how that week's going to go. Basically, we're streaming every single night, but that Thursday, we're going to go over Raw, and then we're going to go ahead and do our predictions. We might want to do our predictions that Friday.
Maybe.
In case they add another match. They might be crazy. We only have 10 matches right now. They might add another match. We have 10 matches in 8 hours, so I don't know. They might add another one. Anyway, New Day versus DIY with Awesome Truth on commentary, and Judgment Day coming in to put an exclamation point on what they think is going to be a very successful WrestleMania 40 for them. What do you rate this match?
7.5. I liked how the New Day and DIY, they went out, they just had fun. Our Truth on commentary just added a bonus to it. It was a good match. Funny segment, but good match also.
Okay, that is the closest we've actually been in our opinions. So you did 7.5, I did 7, so that makes sense. That's good. All right, so we're going to move on down to, we head to the back, and Cody is asked by Jackie, "What did The Rock say to you?" Cody says, "I don't really want to repeat it, and you know what? It doesn't matter, because The Rock, he can't keep that promise anyway. It's just a promise he can't keep." Walks away. That's it. He says, "He can't make me bleed," but they don't really know. We don't really know.
Should have thought about that twice.
Yeah.
Like, why you talking?
I say we don't really know that's what he said at that point, I guess, but he said, "He can't make me bleed. It's PG, baby." Not anymore.
Out the window.
We get the Gunther segment. Kathy Kelly asks what his response is to Sami saying that he's looking into the eyes of the person who's going to beat him at WrestleMania. And Gunther says that his words were empty. And he repeats the things he said last week, that no one believes that Sami can beat him. He also says that Sami can't beat Brawnson Reed tonight. And when Kelly asks if he'll be out there scouting the competition, he just smirks and he says, "I don't believe that Sami can beat Brawnson Reed. Thank you."
Tough. Gunther is man, when I say I did not like somebody, and now I'm like infatuated with their character, that is one of them. From Walter to Gunther.
I remember seeing Walter's first official match when he went against Butch.
Mm-hmm.
On NXT UK years ago. And Butch held that title for so long. And just to see him do his best against Walter and it not matter. It didn't matter. Like I remember thinking when I saw that for his first, I was like, this dude is crazy good. Like, this dude has ring presence. He's a monster. He knows how to be a monster. He's quick. He's got everything. And then everybody's like, oh, it's the end of this guy. They changed his name from Walter to Gunther. And in my head, I'm like, just watch. He's going to destroy everything.
He's been destroying ever since. Like I said, I'm waiting for Dragunov to go to the main roster. I need to see a rematch between him and Gunther. That match was crazy. And if anybody disagrees, fuck you. Because that match was crazy.
Oh, man. So we're going to get into Andrade versus Giovanni Vinci. In case anybody didn't know, it was supposed to be Ivar. Ivar was injured. Ivar, I think, is better now.
Maybe. I haven't heard anything, but I think he is.
Do me a favor while I'm going over this match. Can you look up a update on him? Because I did not. I should have, and I didn't look up an update. So I'm going to go through the match real quick, and then we can talk about that and see if how he's looking. So Giovanni starts with a little bit of face mushing on Andrade, kind of a little bit of heel work, but Andrade answers with a mean slap to the chest. They then work around to a corner where Giovanni goes for a high-risk move, but gets a drop kick in the mouth that sends him to the outside, where Andrade hits a moonsault off the second rope to the floor. They end up on the inside of the ring, where Andrade goes for another moonsault, but Giovanni rolls out of the way as a counter. But then Andrade lands on his feet and hits another moonsault, a standing moonsault off of the moonsault that he missed, which is just incredible showmanship and incredible acrobatics. And it's very difficult to drop from a high spot, moonsault, land, and then moonsault again. That's just not something that's easy to do, even with a ring that has springs in it. It's just not easy to do. We end up going to a commercial break after Giovanni hits a great cross body running from the ropes to see Andrade is now in control. He works Giovanni to the corner and hits a double knee for a near fall. That double knee is nasty, by the way. Giovanni works his way back up and goes for a powerbomb, but Andrade counters and receives a slap from Andrade, or to Andrade. However, Andrade stays resilient, and after Giovanni runs to the ropes to try to get some more momentum going, he hits it looked like he was going for a boot, but the boot got messed up, so he kind of transitioned into a spinning elbow. So that elbow was pretty mean, and then after that, he hits Giovanni with the message, and Andrade is going to win via the message. I think Andrade had a good showing tonight. I think it was his best match since he's been back. He's had a couple. I think this was his best one so far.
Yeah. So update, Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful has said that Ivar will be okay and he will not miss any time from the ring.
Okay.
So should be good to go.
So the big man in Valhalla, presumably in her amazing antlers, her beautiful, sexy antlers, as Michael Cole would say, not me. We'll be back. We'll be back hopefully next Monday. So Andrade versus Giovanni Vinci, man. Give me some comments if you got any, and if not, just give me a rating. Let me know what you think.
5.5. I'm being generous. Andrade's showing was good. It was just, and I give him credit. It was a kind of on the spot match, so it was a match. Nothing too crazy, nothing spectacular.
Yep.
So I guess I said 5.5.
Yeah, and you know what? I gave it a 6. Giovanni showed one part of intensity after he hit that little crossbody and he got up and he did that kind of thing. He showed one bit of intensity, one bit of personality in an otherwise dull, personality-less match from him. And Andrade did well. Andrade did the moonsaults. He showcased his ability. I think that what you said is true. I think that they were. I think that it was last-minute booking because of Ivar getting hurt. You have to just plan for those things. And I think that they were a little bit mismatched. I think this was an opportunity for Giovanni more than it was an opportunity for Andrade.
Yeah, definitely.
The good thing about this, though, is that Ivar now doesn't have to lose a match because he would have lost that match against Andrade.
Unfortunately, yes, he would have.
So now that match, well, and they're probably going to do the match again, so it's still going to probably end up on the books, but at least we're one more Monday away from Ivar losing because Ivar also needs something going on for him, I think.
He needs something.
So, we're going to shift now gears to our Dom and Rhea segment with Becky. So before the commercial, we see them walking to the ring. After the commercial, Rhea and Dom come out. And Rhea finally gets some dedicated time on the mic to talk about WrestleMania and why her damn match is important. They finally get a chance to move the needle further than the needle has been moved with Io and Becky.
Say too little, too late for those.
Or Bailey, I should say. You were saying what?
Say too little, too late for Becky and Rhea to make the match important.
I was a little hyped, a little bit. I don't think that it met the expectations of being more hyped than Bailey and Io, though.
No.
I think star power is the. I think star power is the motivation, right?
It is the only thing holding it right now.
Right. You got this star power with Rhea and Becky, but you have storytelling with Bailey and Io, right? Which I think is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool like contrast, I guess. Which might be done on purpose, you know? They might be doing that on purpose to be like, hey, here's the yin and the yang. Some people like this, some people like that. Maybe that's what they're doing.
Maybe.
You know?
I don't know.
But anyway, so Rhea says that she feels like she's not getting enough attention from Becky. Rhea tells Dom to tell the crowd that Becky should be giving her Becky's full attention. As Dom grabs the mic, he is booed out of the arena. And then all he really says is Becky, and Becky's music hit. She doesn't want to hear Dom. No one wants to hear Dom, especially when she's with mommy, or he's with mommy.
Man, I got a question. So why Rhea set him up like that? What is that about? She knew what was gonna happen.
Oh, she knew.
She knew. Why set him up like that?
I don't know, but it was great. I loved it. So Becky comes to the ring and gets the cheap Chicago pop, you know, just like all the faces did. Chicago, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
She says that Rhea doesn't wrestle on Raw anymore, and Rhea says, why would she wrestle when all she really has to do is post a pic or a video and these little freaks eat it up? Becky says being a champion to Rhea is showing her ass on social media, and to Becky, being a champion is busting her ass night in and night out. She says that there's always someone newer, younger, hotter, but the long game is on skill and merit. She says that Rhea hasn't experienced that yet because basically Rhea's in the middle of her youth, basically is what she's saying. But Becky is going to give her a new experience at WrestleMania. Rhea says that she's right. Becky's been through a lot. And that she reminds her of something, of a cockroach. Hard to kill, but it's not impossible. She says, but killing her would be too easy. You said, you know, she says killing isn't really what she's going for. What she wants to do is she wants to leave Becky alive just enough so she can sit on the couch next to her daughter. And they can watch Rhea on the screen together, and her daughter, Rue, can call Rhea, mommy.
Tough, Michael.
Indeed.
Tough, Michael.
Becky gets visibly upset, visibly pissed, and says that if she mentions her daughter, she says, this is your one and only pass, because if you mention my daughter again, that will be the last thing you ever say. She says that line might be some kind of joke to Rhea, but it's not a joke to her, and that title might be a joke to you, but it's not a joke to me. She says that her dad never got to meet Rue, never got to meet her daughter, and that her dad was proud of everything that she did, but she knows that her dad would be the most proud of the mother that she has become. At this point, Becky is emotional, you know, she doesn't have tears flowing, but you can tell her voice is breaking. Becky then snaps back into aggression, and she says that, you know, Rhea says that she didn't attack her out of respect, but there's nothing respectful about Rhea. There's nothing respectful about mommy. And she didn't attack her because she knows once that first punch is thrown, there's no going back. And at WrestleMania, neither of them are going to be the same again. Becky drops the mic, and they get face to face. They get in each other's face. At this point, Dom decides that he's going to pull Rhea back, and Becky, without the mic, says, oh, it's the other way around now. It's weird. It's kind of the other way. You're kind of protecting her or something. It's kind of weird. And this prompts Dom to, I guess, think he's tough. So he walks over to Becky and gets in Becky's face and decides he's going to turn away for a second, looks at mommy, starts to look back at Becky, and before his eyes can even make contact, the fist, just rocks Dominic Mysterio.
She only pulled a little bit. Only a little bit. She only pulled a little bit. Like, there was full force. Like, if she didn't pull, he would have lost teeth. She pulled a little bit just so he wouldn't lose teeth.
Man, all I know is, like, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, either she did that on accident, or that whole daughter line actually pissed her off, and she was just throwing it into Dom's face.
There was some real emotion behind that punch, but she pulled, like I said, she pulled it a little bit just so it wouldn't be like a, yo, you knocked my teeth out.
Right.
That was a hit.
So at this point, all hell breaks loose, obviously. Becky and Rhea break down. They start fighting each other, beating the hell out of each other. And Rhea ends up getting the upper hand ultimately and throws her into the ring post. Rhea then goes out of the ring and checks on Dom, and they start to leave. She has Dom, like, you know, like she's carrying him kind of. And Becky slides out of the ring where they were, jumps onto the steel steps, and does a bop clothesline, takes them both out and starts fighting Rhea. At this point, we've got refs coming down to the ring. All of the refs, for whatever reason, decide that they're going to focus on Becky, as Dom is the one that kind of gets mommy out of there. And, you know, at one point, Rhea's like, okay, fine. Dom turns around, and Becky, the refs were like, oh, everything's cool. And Becky just runs through the refs and just starts beating the hell out of Dom, just throwing some rights and lefts. Literally does almost a Thez press, and then Rhea gets involved again. They start fighting, and the more refs come out from the back, finally pull these ladies apart. And we're going to fade into our next segment after that. Like we said in the beginning before we started talking about the segment, I think it did what it had to do. It hyped it up a little bit more for me. Give me some thoughts and give me a rating, my brother.
That was a 7.5. Maybe an 8. I'll be generous to give it 8 because of that punch. That punch was real. Like, the emotion from Becky, it was good. Punch was real. It's just, I just feel like maybe it's too late because I'm not fully invested like I am with Bayley and Io because of that story, but I feel like it's still going to be a good match regardless.
Heard that. Yeah, I think it's going to be, I mean, it's definitely going to be a good match. I think the storytelling is lacking. I think that bringing up Becky's daughter is a cheap way to get heat.
It is. But it gets heat.
But it does get heat. It makes me wonder if they talked about that beforehand, because I was going to mention this later, but every promo seemed to have bullet points, and they said, here are your bullet points, go talk. So maybe that's the case. Maybe Rhea didn't ask for permission, and that actually pissed Becky off a little bit. It could have. It's possible. So, but yeah, I rated it a 7. The punch was good, though. It was good.
Yeah, punch was fantastic.
All right, so we're going into our next segment now. Sami's walking through the back, and we see Chad talking to Maxxine Dupree, probably giving her some tips or something, since they're both in the Alpha Academy. He shifts his attention to Sami Zayn as he sees Sami walk by, and he says that he wants to talk about how things ended last Monday. Sami said that it's all water under the bridge, man. He said it's fine, and he's going to go out and prove Gunther wrong tonight. And Chad says that's just the problem. The problem is you're focusing on Gunther. You're letting Gunther get into your head. And you need to be focusing on Brawnson, because Brawnson is who is in front of you tonight. And Bronson Reed is nothing to take lightly.
You can't.
He says, get your head out of your ass and go fight Brawnson. And stop thinking about Gunther. Sami says that he's right. He says, thank you for the advice. He heads to the ring. This is going to bring us to the Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn match. Obviously, we were setting up for it. Very interesting match. It starts out with the normal big guy versus small guy thing. Bronson Reed, obviously a monster, just using his size and strength, and Sami Zayn trying to zip around and get punches in here and there, do what he can do. We end up getting a slight upper hand from Sami. He gets Bronson on the outside, hits him with a suicide dive, as is per every match he does, basically. He tries to go to the top rope. As Bronson rolls back into the ring, he goes on the top rope, and he tries to do a splash, basically a dive on him here, crossbody, and Bronson catches him. And he does, and basically the match goes on from there. He takes over from there and just starts beating the hell out of him. Bronson ends up, before the commercial break, Bronson hits a devastating chop, and I know that you remember this chop. He hits a devastating chop, just bop, and Sami, his whole body shut down.
It was just a giant red spot. I was like,
Like, he hit that chop, and Bronson Sami just, and goes out of the ring.
And he shut off his heart. He shut off his heart for a second.
Oh yeah. And Sami, once he regains that blood pressure back a little bit, he sees the 300+ pounder doing a flying shoulder block to him from the damn apron to the ground. That's like getting hit with a cow. It's like someone threw a cow at you.
Crazy.
So, and then we go to the commercial. When we come back, Bronson obviously still in control, but Sami's trying to fight back. He gets a brief upper hand, but it's thwarted quickly again by Bronson hitting a mean scoop slam, and that's how he shifts that momentum back. Again, with Bronson, it's good to be quick and hit him, but the problem with every big guy is the second that you run back, you hit the ropes. If the big guy looks up and sees you, he knows you're coming at him, and now he can catch you, and now he can overpower you. And that's this mistake that Sami kept making. Sami's offense is not an inside offense. It's a very outside offense, and then he starts doing blue thunder bombs and things like that. So that was the problem with Sami the entire match. Sami keeps trying to mount a comeback. He keeps getting stopped until he hits a reversal using a springboard over jump, or a springboard jump over Bronson, and hitting a mean clothesline to him that actually knocked Bronson down. Unfortunately, at this point, Gunther decides that he's going to come out, which obviously distracts Sami, because no wrestler can handle another wrestler coming to the top of the ramp, because it's like, oh no, oh my God, you're up at the ramp.
No. Big good back Gunther.
Right. So he comes to the top. Brawnson ends up slowly working the momentum away from Sami. He works Sami to the corner, and Sami shows a little bit of life by doing a tornado DDT and sets him up for the haluva kick. But Sami, for some reason, as he sets up for the haluva kick, he decides to look over at Gunther. And this gives Brawnson enough time, again, like I'm saying. Big guy in the corner, haluva kick, he's like this. But the second that Brawnson recovers and does that, it's done.
Catching him. Just catching him.
So he goes, he runs, he tries to hit the haluva kick, but he clotheslines the absolute shit out of Sami Zayn, follows it up with a Samoan drop. Then he goes to the top rope. We've all seen this story. Tsunami. Bronson Reed wins 1, 2, 3 via the Tsunami. As he rolls out of the ring, looks at Gunther down the ramp and says, I should be the one at WrestleMania. Bloody face. Sami busted him open during the commercial break. He still went over Sami.
I tend to agree with Brawnson. I'm just saying, that would have been a more interesting match.
But now we have Sami on a loss going into WrestleMania. We're telling a little bit of a different story. We have a little bit of a different narrative being shown now about Sami. It's Sami's same story, but a loss before WrestleMania is not something that WWE does a lot to the person that most people think is going to end up winning. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, my brother, give me some thoughts. Give me a rating. You know how it's been going.
Give it a 5. It was a match. Bronson Reed got his action in, got the win. I'm just not a fan of watching Sami at the moment. I don't know what it is. It's just he's getting his tail beat consistently, and he just pulls a win out of his ass. And I'm like, all right, well, that doesn't make sense, but all right, cool, you get a win.
Heard that.
But 5.
Okay, I rated it a 6. I thought it was a decent enough match. Again, you and I seem to be so far right on par
with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got a couple segments we got to go through. So we cut to Jey Uso in the back talking trash to Shinsuke. He says he's been sleeping on main event Jey for too long at night. He's about to get woke. Jey is stuttering a little bit in this promo, and you want to know why? It's because they fed Shinsuke to Jey with no story, and Shinsuke is actually a big deal, and Jey didn't know what the hell to say. Like, they're doing Shinsuke bad. They're doing him wrong.
They are. It's so bad.
And so you want to see... Go ahead.
No, and for the people that are watching, the fans out there, I've been hearing shit that Shinsuke is washed, and I'm like, y'all gotta be shitting me. Y'all legit gotta be shitting me. Like, the man is not washed. He can still go. He is up there. He just has excuse my language, a shit storyline that nobody knows what the fuck is going on. So I'm gonna need y'all to chill with the whole Shinsuke's washed. Y'all are washed. I'm gonna let you know that now. Y'all are washed. Stop watching AEW and stop blowing Tony Khan's penis. Thank you.
Yep. And you know what's funny is what I was going to say is that you want Shinsuke to go to AEW. This is how you get Shinsuke to go to AEW. You keep booking him shitty storylines, and he's going to go right to AEW with all of his New Japan Pro Wrestling friends. That's where he's going to go.
And then he's going to get a shitty storyline where he bleeds every night like Jon Moxley.
Yep. Absolutely. Going to go right over to the Mud Show. All right, look, I know we just buried AEW. AEW is a good production for the most part. We're just WWE particular. That's all that is.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, G and I went to the first AEW show live. We were there. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. So, anyway, moving on. Jimmy and Sikoa then come into frame as Jay's talking his spit. And Jimmy just looks at him and says, "No yeet." And they walk off. We come back from commercial to have Pat do a play-by-play for us with Becky slugging Dom in the face.
That was funny.
That slow-mo is fantastic. He said his jaw went from one area of Chicago to the next. Oh, man, it was good.
I will say that was a good find they did in finding Pat. That was a good find.
Yep. And I like that they're doing like the NFL play-by-play kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good that Pat brings that. We then see Sami in the back. He's throwing things. He's hitting things. He's mad at himself for losing to Brawnson Reed and letting Gunther get into his head. Chad comes up and says, this is what I'm talking about. He's a different beast. He says that Gunther's game is not only physical, but it's mental. And he'll beat you down in the ring until you give in to your self-doubt. He says that Sami is one of the best he's ever been in the ring with. But with Gunther, he's going to have a different approach. And if it's a different approach that you want to talk about, well, then we can talk. And they go off to talk somewhere. Sami says, okay. And now somebody who lost to Gunther is coaching someone to beat Gunther.
Damn.
I don't understand this. I think this is going to be a Chad Gable heel turn.
Maybe.
Because one of them's turning. It's either going to be Chad or it's going to be Sami, and I don't see Sami turning heel.
Yeah, not right now. Who was the last one to beat Gunther? I cannot remember.
I don't know.
For the life of me.
He's been beaten. I know. I've seen it happen, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He hasn't been beaten in 2 years. I'll tell you that. So now we are going to move on to I just want to make sure I didn't miss I didn't. Okay. We're going to move on to our Jey Uso versus Shinsuke Nakamura match. All I did for this is I said Jey Uso wins via spear. Because here's the thing. No one, the match was just a match.
Yeah, it was a match.
It was a match. They were doing stuff. They did good stuff. It wasn't a bad match. Mm-hmm. But the match wasn't what people were there for. The match wasn't the focal point. The focal point was everything happening around the ring, outside the ring, in the back. Nothing really, was a thing with. So basically, rate Jey Uso versus Shinsuke. Just rate the match as a match.
4.
Okay, fair enough.
Can't remember it. Yeah.
I gave it a 5 just to be nice to their star power. So now we're going to get into our final segment. Cody and The Rock is basically what it is. So I'm going to read my notes. We're going to go through the match a very little bit, but then we're going to get to the meat. The match itself really isn't important. Like I mentioned, it's a pretty normal worked match and only really gets interesting when Jimmy and Solo come out. When that happens, Cody and Seth immediately come down to the ring to make things equal. After Seth disposes of Solo, and Cody takes Jimmy to the back, Drew actually comes out and disposes of Seth, and makes him a non-factor. After Jey wins the match, we see Cody continuing to fight Jimmy, and throws him through a door to the outside, and Solo comes into frame to attack Cody. Cody then disposes of Solo as well, and then The Rock shows up to make good on his promise from earlier in the night.
Did you hear what he said when he walked up to him and hit him? It was like some old Rock. Sha sha sha.
Oh yeah. He was like sha sha sha.
I was like, what the hell?
It was 1998, 1999, baby. We back.
I was like, what the hell? That was some old ass wrestler stuff. Like,
I'm 11 or 12 again, man. That's it. We back in here.
Sha sha sha. I was like, what? I wasn't expecting that, but sorry, I just had to. I had to mention that. I had to mention that.
Throughout the attack, he keeps yelling, "Look at you now, boy! Look at you now!" He constantly smacks Cody's head off of things. He pours toolboxes on him. He hits him in the head with a trash can.
Him throwing a trash can at his head. That. Good Lord! That brought back to me.
And you could hear it from the fans.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. You could hear it from the fans. They were like, "Yo, what is happening?" So he throws him into a rail, which Cody kind of no-sells. Cody was supposed to dive through that thing, and I think he got a little bit. I think he lost his footing and he didn't dive correctly through it. And then The Rock grabs a trash can and hits him with it again. And before they go through the doors to the outside where it's raining, The Rock says, The Rock has your attention now, huh? He then grabs Cody, takes him in the rain, like I said, and he continues to beat down Cody in front of Cody's bus. He says, look at your hero, Mama Rhodes. Look at your son. I have a special gift for you. He throws Cody against the bus door and says that he asks, does anybody really think that I was going to let this piece of shit talk trash about The Rock and his family? He says, it didn't have to be this way. Didn't have to be like this. But now it is like this. He goes over to Cody, and Cody is a bloody mess at this point. If you look, you can actually see where Cody's gigging himself in the background. That's why The Rock kept grabbing the camera guy. Because at some point, you can see Cody on all fours, and he's doing this. He's sawing his head open so he can have a little cut with blood. That's for all the fans, the eagle-eyed fans.
Yeah.
But anyway, he goes over to Cody again. Cody's a bloody mess, and he takes his weight belt off that was under his Versace shirt. And the belt says Mama Rhodes on it. He says that The Rock is a man of his word, and he smears Cody's blood onto the belt. He then grabs Cody up to his feet, and the camera guy gets a close-up on Cody's bloody face. And The Rock says, look at your boy, Mama Rhodes. At WrestleMania, this is what's going to happen to your son. Your son's blood on Johnson's hands. He shifts his attention to Cody and says, your daddy didn't know about hard times, but you're going to know about hard times. The Rock is going to learn you about hard times, boy. The Rock is going to learn you about hard times. You and The Rock, hard times for life, because that is what happens when you fuck with the final boss. He then throws Cody's head against the truck again. As Cody hits the ground, he kneels down next to Cody and he spits on him. Or he spits next to him, I should say. Not on him. He spits next to him.
Yeah. I feel like that would have been a real fight.
And he says, look at your boy, Mama Rhodes. It didn't have to be this way, but now, this is the only way. Look at your son. And we fade out to the end of Raw. This is how Raw ends. I've seen live action shots of people taking pictures or taking video of the screen. I've seen it from different angles. This is one of the best Raws I've seen in a very long time. So no matches were announced for next week. It's the first time it's happened in about 6 or 7 weeks. But go ahead. I want you to rate the Cody and Rock final segment.
That was a good ass segment. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. It was a good ass segment.
Hell yeah.
They finally put hands on each other, not just a slap. So, well, Rock put hands on him. Put it like that. Beat the crap out of him. Left him a bloody mess. He said it was gonna make him bleed. Proved true.
Indeed.
Yeah, outside of that, it was just very storytelling, very foreshadowing. If you notice on the background, and I guess that was a truck or a bus, you would see John Cena and was it Stone Cold on there?
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about that. Yes.
Yeah, both of those are supposed to be. Both of those people are supposed to be at WrestleMania.
Indeed.
They didn't say what they were doing, but they're supposed to be. But just a little bit of foreshadowing.
Indeed. As a matter of fact, getting into a little bit of not fully news right now, but I will go ahead and spoil one news story. Right now, the legends that are confirmed: Ron Simmons, Kane, Jimmy Hart, Michelle McCool, JBL, Jerry Lawler, Medusa, Cowboy Bob Orton, Rikishi, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, John Cena. There are probably more that I've left out, but that's a good studded lineup. Now they're not all going to have full segments. Probably they might all have like jokes, or some of them might have joke segments or whatever. I would not be surprised if John Cena and Stone Cold had a some kind of involvement in the final match.
Maybe.
So
maybe.
I actually wouldn't. I actually wouldn't necessarily like that, to be honest. I would want something different. But
we'll see. We shall see.
Indeed. Okay. So, what is your overall rating of the show itself? Because like we're gonna get a calculated rating, but I want to factor in the feel of the show, because when I was doing this math thing, I was like, well, the feel of the show is important. So, what is the feel for you of the show? Like, what do you rate the feeling?
8.5 total, all in all. Because, I mean, it had great spots, like the Ricochet JD match, the segment with Seth, Cody, and Drew, the segment with The Rock, a couple other matches. It was all good, you know?
Yep.
It was really hitting home, and it's getting us ready for Mania, which is what I'm excited for.
Indeed. I gave the feeling about the whole show about an 8. Mm-hmm. So, our overall rating, as far as like what is calculated, you would give it a 6.77, and I would give it a 7.02. So I was just a slight bit more generous. And so if you put our averages together, that's a 6.9. We were basically the same.
Okay.
So what that means though is that was a good show. I'm gonna say anything over a 5 is a really good show.
Yeah, like total, yeah. As far as numbers go, yeah.
Right, because you're gonna have your ups and your downs.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a full. If you get a 10 on a Raw, you're wilding. You are wilding the entire night. There's segments upon segments. The matches are insane.
Yeah,
it's WrestleMania on Monday night.
The only place that they should be doing a 10, like knocking it out of the park, would be the night after WrestleMania. That's when you're supposed to get your returns, your new feuds. You know, all your old feuds are supposed to be final. You're supposed to get your promos of the new champions, your promos of the old champions. All of that's supposed to happen. That's supposed to be your 10. If you're going to get a 10, it's supposed to be that.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's still, I feel like it doesn't get a full 10.
No, you're probably right. Man, where are we going to find a 10? Like, where are we actually going to have a full 10? I don't know.
Well, apparently WrestleMania is where we get a full 10.
That's fair.
Because, you know, it's going to be the best WrestleMania ever.
But if this seemed to be cool, so if we want to keep doing this, what we'll do is we'll bring Dresh into this next time we come in on Sunday, and we'll do the same thing.
Yeah, that's fine. However, we might have to change the time frame if we're doing that.
What do you mean?
Right now we're at 1 hour and 30 minutes.
That's fine. I know a guy on YouTube that does this for 2 hours straight, and we've had pretty consistent viewership the entire night. So thank you for those who have been rocking with us the entire night. By the way, I've been keeping track of it, so I appreciate y'all. Please share the podcast with people. We want to build this. We want to build a community where everybody's talking and everybody's engaged and everybody's giving their opinions. Look, I know I'm entertaining. I know y'all love watching me talk. I know that y'all love seeing G over here give his opinions and wear his cool hats and have his cool tattoos and his shirts and his headphones and the Zelda bullcrap and the Batman bullcrap in the background. I know you like all of that. But we want to hear other people's opinions. So bring your opinions. WrestleMania weekend, when we are streaming 4 nights in a row, baby, we want your opinions. Bring them. Now, as far as news is concerned, we're not going to do news tonight. We have ran late. So no news tonight. We're going to post all the news and articles on the Facebook. They'll be there either tonight or tomorrow. Please join the conversation there and add your opinions. G, can you close us out for the night? I'm springing it on you.
All right. Well, if you want good news, good reviews, and exciting wrestling, you come to It's All a Work. I've been your co-host, HangyMangy, and
I have been your co-host, Big T, baby.
Ooh, God, this is horrible. Thanks for watching. Please share, like, subscribe, and also, can we do a poll for our fans so they can have like their own match cards, so where they can actually see if they pick the right winners?
Where would we do that?
I don't know. That's what I said. We gotta figure it out. But since you're springing stuff on me, I'm springing that on you to figure it out.
Well, we can do it on Facebook. We can do it on Facebook. We can do it on Discord. We can do it on Twitter. We'll talk about that in the background. I think it's a great idea because we need more community interaction. So the answer is yes. Let's do it.
All right. Well.
All right, y'all. Look, thank y'all for joining us again. It has been me, your boy Big T. It has been the amazing HangyMangy, the Dark Knight. Y'all have a great night. And we will talk to y'all later.
We out.